Hi Scorpio, this month for you is about fun, it's about enjoyment. At the same time, we've got Jupiter going retrograde in your sign. So you're going to be making some very big shifts and changes. Okay Scorpio, so the exciting news, other than the fact that it's snowing outside, I don't know if you can see it. Oh my gosh, look at it, it's insane. It's so cool, I'm so excited, like a child. But the other big news, right, is that Jupiter is going retrograde in your sign. So we will go on to talk about that, but there are some big shifts happening with you Scorpio, and I really love this. And this is stuff that can really affect you, you know, in the long run, in the long term. And can play out for many years to come. And if you work with this energy, I see you stepping up to another level of success and another level of happiness within your life, okay, and within yourself. We start out the month with a full moon happening in your 11th house, and this full moon is interesting. Like, it's a really nicely aspected full moon, I really like it, but it's preceded by, well, not preceded by, it touches on Neptune, so it opposes Neptune. So for a lot of us, I feel like we're going to be coming into the month with a slight, or coming out of the back of February, with a slight feeling of having to make an adjustment on an emotional level. Okay, so it could be a feeling of disappointment, it could be a feeling of slight betrayal or hurt, and not having our expectations met. And this for you is going to play out in the area of friendships, in the area of community, one-to-one relationships. Okay, so it could be that there's a friend that lets you down, or it could be that there's a group that you belong to and you were hoping to go in one direction with them and then it doesn't happen, or you could feel a sense of betrayal somehow, some sort of feeling of loss. Like I've been saying to everybody, don't worry about this too much, because there is such positive energy here with this full moon. I feel like it's this slightly hurt feeling and this slightly disappointed feeling that actually leads you into a deeper understanding, and you know how to move forward. Okay, my goodness, it is crazy out there. I've not seen snow like this in years, so forgive me if I get distracted. So this full moon also trines Saturn, okay, in your 3rd house, and she trines Pallas Athena in your 7th house. And Pallas Athena is an asteroid that's to do with success and creative intelligence, right? And so yes, okay, there's this disappointing energy that's present, but through it, I feel like you have a more realistic and more mature understanding of yourself, of what you can expect from others and what you can't expect from others. And it's almost like, okay, there's a disappointment, and then you go, I get the lesson, and you move on, okay? And it's actually quite empowering for you, and it allows you to show up in your relationships in a way that is quite autonomous, and I really like that for you. Okay, for the first week, the planets are direct, so we can keep going with things, keep moving forward, keep launching, releasing, those kinds of things. But then, but then Jupiter goes retrograde in your sign, so you've got Jupiter in your sign who's wanting you to grow and expand. But now the question becomes, is bigger or is better, right? So Jupiter goes retrograde on the 8th. And what is this about? So he's in your 1st house, right? Or in your sign, depending on where he's placed exactly in your chart. So this is about now reviewing and becoming more introspective about how I feel about me, how I feel about how I show up in the world, how I feel about my success, how I feel about my happiness, my relationship with myself. And so, you know, some of you might have been feeling very positive, and especially those of you who, you know, Scorpio rules your 1st house, very positive, very expansive, and now you kind of start to slow down. I'm not saying you start to feel negative or anything like that, but you start to slow down and you start to you go a little bit deeper. It's not just all about having a good time and being optimistic and, you know, throwing caution to the wind. Now it's like, okay, hang on a minute, let me go a bit deeper. Where am I? It's a time to review. Where am I? How successful am I in my own eyes? How happy am I? How do I feel about myself? How do I feel about how I show up in the world? And this is going to see, this 4-month period is going to see you changing and shifting your perspective on yourself and having some real moments of insight and just, I think like almost, I want to call it like, it's almost like you shift vibrational frequencies. Do you know what I mean? You know, you almost walk through new doorways as you have these realizations, because Jupiter is about higher wisdom, and I feel like you're going to see into yourself from a higher perspective, from a broader perspective, and this will allow you to release negative habits you might have, addictions you might have, reliance upon ego strokes from other people. You know, it's going to allow you to release some things in order for you to really stand in your own energy and say, I am proud of who I am, and I am proud of how I show up and what I am being, without the need for validation outside of me. And so I really like this. So the way to work with this is to really look into yourself, you know. Look at maybe areas where perhaps you've gone too far at times. Look at areas where you, if there's any pain around, you know, how you feel about yourself, especially in terms of, you know, success and things like that. Look into them, work with them, because you will, the work you do now will pay off great dividends in the long run, okay, when Jupiter goes direct. And the nice thing is, you know, Jupiter is going to be going back into Sagittarius at the end of this month, at the end of this year. And so there are going to be a lot of blessings available, and he's going to be so happy there. But I like this retrograde because before he moves into Sagittarius, he's wanting us to go deep on something. And for you, it's a matter of you. It's a matter of yourself. It's about your self-image, how you feel about yourself, how you see yourself. So this is going to be a process that starts now and then lasts until about the 10th of July. Okay, so we have all of the planets as we begin the month in your 5th house of romance, creativity, children. A lot of your focus is going to be on these things, right? And having fun. And so this should see you feeling quite good. And the energy then shifts more into health as we go on later into the month, more into health, more into my day-to-day routine, more into the details of things, more into my co-workers, my colleagues, the place where I work, the services that I give, that type of thing. Okay, so I would say for those of you who are single, there may be some really lovely opportunities to have fun, because Jupiter is making some really lovely aspects to the personal planets in your 5th house. So you can meet some really lovely people who give you an understanding of yourself, because, you know, Jupiter is about learning and is about wisdom. It could be through encounters with people that might be very just fun or flirtatious or just, you know, easy come, easy go. But through these seemingly, you know, innocuous, unimportant encounters, you will gain a deeper understanding or clearer understanding of yourself. And it's almost like, oh, okay, this is how, through play, I'm learning about myself and I'm seeing who I've become. And so I quite like that. I mean, there is possibility for romance here, certainly. But bear in mind that Mercury will be going retrograde in your 5th house. So that's just something to be aware of, but we'll talk about that in a bit. Okay, so on the 17th, there's a new moon in your 5th house. This is lovely and it's really well aspected. I like this new moon. It's touching on Jupiter, it's touching on Chiron, it's touching on Pluto. So for those of you who have children, you know, this could be things really coming to a nice place with children, and having maybe the opportunity to maybe, like, you kind of start feeling almost as though you're bonding with your children on a deeper level than you have done before, and you're able to be emotionally and spiritually really far more there than you ever have been before. You know, Jupiter is also quite a parental kind of planet, so this could see some of you really looking at, over the next 4 months, your role as a parent and how you show up as a parent and how you can, you know, really do your best for yourself and your children as a parent. But this new moon, I just see really lovely fresh energy coming in for you in the area of creativity, romance, children, okay, and it's healing. And I feel like if you're creative, you might find that, especially if you've had creative blocks, I like this as well. If you've had creative blocks and you've been like, I really want to paint, I want to sing, I want to write, whatever it is. And those are just the classic creative things. I mean, creativity can be anything. You know, carpentry is creative. You can be creative with numbers. But if there's something that you've been wanting to do and there's just been some sort of emotional block, this can see that block being released, being diffused, and see you actually able to express yourself in whatever medium it is that you've been wanting to express yourself in, and kind of suddenly finding, oh my goodness, you know, it's not so scary after all. This is a great time for anyone who's creative. But at the same time, you know, this also plays out in romance and love, and so this can see, you know, if you're coupled, this can see you really having, because Pisces, you know, it is a very forgiving sign, it's very compassionate. This can see a real sense of, let's put the past in the past. I love you, and you are what matters, and our relationship is what matters. And, you know, so there can be some real healing around relationships at this time. So it's a really good time for, if you are coupled up, really remembering why it was you got together, and remembering the love that you have for each other, and letting go of any hurts that you may have caused each other, and really saying, listen, let's move forward, and let's have fun again, let's love each other again. It's very much about love. If you're single, you could even find that you meet somebody who doesn't end up being anything serious, but something they say, something they do, maybe the way they interact with you, suddenly makes you realize how far you've come along on your journey and how much you've grown. Or it could just be that what they say has some sort of healing and profound effect on you, and you might never see them again, but you're like, oh my goodness, that was exactly what I needed to feel, exactly what I needed to hear. So really lovely energy. Mars, which has been in your second house, then moves into on the same day, moves into your third house. So there's this powerhouse of energy there. So your words are powerful this month. You've got Saturn, Pluto and Mars in your third house. Your words, how you express yourself, is powerful, and there can be some powerful encounters in your local community. I think for those of you who are single, you're going to get a lot of opportunities to flirt, and there may be some powerful attractions to people who you just meet in your day-to-day, or who live in your local community. Okay, let me also mention with Jupiter retrograde, this could see past loves coming back. This could see exes coming back. This could see them not necessarily to get back together, but maybe to just to explore something, or maybe they come back into your life for a very short period of time, and you see as a result how much you've grown since the last time you were with them. So this can bring that back, just to let you know. Right. Okay, so then we finish off the month with a full moon in your 12th house. So the 12th house is about endings, it's about karmic cycles. It's a very mysterious house, so this is going to bring attention to those things, and there can be some releasing of stuff, but there is quite a bit of tension. There's a T-square around this full moon, okay? And so for you, this T-square is playing out in your 12th house, in your 3rd house, as well as in your 6th house. So just be aware of the fact that, you know, there could be feelings of tension, sensitivity, and it might be hard to pinpoint exactly why, but be aware of your communications with people on the job, especially because Mercury is retrograding, and he retrogrades on the 23rd. And so just be aware of communication, be aware of how you're communicating with people. And I would say the best thing to do is I would really watch what I say this month. And I've said this to quite a few signs, you know. I would say saying less is better than saying more this month, if you can. If you, bite your tongue a little bit, so as not to get caught up in some of the fray, because there's a lot of emotionally sensitive energy, especially at the beginning of the month, where people can take things the wrong way, and, you know, things can just get blurted out. So I would just be mindful of this at the second full moon, which is a blue moon, okay? Second full moon in the month. But for you, this is psychic, this is healing, this can bring your dreams really to life and ignite them, okay? And we also finish out the month with Venus entering Taurus, going into your 7th house. So Venus is already going into that house of partnership, and I think you're going to have some very interesting, especially with Venus there, and Jupiter retrograding in your 1st house. So Venus in your sign, Jupiter in your opposite sign. There, as we go into April, you're going to see and have some interesting encounters, especially as it relates to love. And I think for a few of you, you will see some exes coming back, or you might be so inclined as to get in touch with some exes. But this will be the energy will be different to how it was when you were together. I will say that much. Okay, I really like this month for you. I really do. And you're growing and you're going deep and you're learning about yourself. Take that time to integrate everything you've learned over the past 12 years, you know, while Jupiter's been doing this cycle, and take it deep. Don't be superficial with yourself. Gain a deeper understanding of who you are, Scorpio, okay? You love to go deep, so let's run with this energy. Alright, so that is your reading, your astro reading for this month. Give it a thumbs up if you like, okay? And now, onto your tarot reading for March. Take care.